is. So when Felix steps off, any momentum that he puts into his body is going to carry it for the next 40 seconds. Felix left the capsule as perfect as we drew up. Just starts falling, falling, falling.
Felix told me a year or so before that he wanted to do a backflip off of the capsule because that's one of his signature moves. And I said, well, Felix, if you do a backflip, you will most certainly die because you will not stop spinning.
And then for me, the next critical point is, when does he have control?
I was trying to put my arms out a little bit just to see how it feels, because of the fact that a lot of those scientists said prior to the jump, you're gonna spin like crazy, and the other half said, we don't think anything is gonna happen. I was mentally prepared to spin, but I was hoping that I'm not gonna spin.
We had physicists from all over the world writing us, please don't let him do it, his arms and legs will come off. Joe would write them back, you know, thank you for your concern, you may want to double check your calculations.
The first 25 seconds, it looked like everything's under control, you know, so I thought at that moment, I still remember, like it was yesterday, hey, everything is cool, you know. At that moment, it slowly starts to spin, it's getting faster. There you go.
All of that's happening while he is breaking the speed of sound, going, you know, Mach, what, 1.2, something like that?
It was exhilarating to see Felix get to 843 miles per hour.
That was our goal. I wanted to be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier.
Was that him breaking it? Yeah.
At that moment, I reached my goal, yeah, but I'm still spinning, and now it really it's getting worse. And now it's on me to find out how to stop that spin, you know, you have to find a solution while the whole world is watching.
Please go ahead. I remember watching this with my family, and when he started spinning out of control, I was standing up, I was like, come on, come on, come on.
Then I was trying to move my arms around a little bit, just maybe it does something, and then it stopped for a second, and at that moment I thought, okay, that was it. But now it starts getting the opposite direction, you know, and then it really ramps up.
You could cut the tension with a knife, and it was terrifying. We didn't know what was going to happen. Eva, Felix's mother, she had tears in her eyes. You could see the fear. To really understand what it means for a mother in that very moment, I think you have to be a mother and having to have a kid who does things like that.
Felix gets in this position, he flips over, he goes past center. Now he's on his back. So all of those moves that we had practiced, all of those jumps him and I of what to do in a spin, everything's now backwards. In that moment, Felix puts out the correct hand to stop the spin, but doesn't wait long enough. I can't even imagine what it's like. I mean, and the sun's spinning around and it's black sky. I mean, it's intense.
It's kind of a helpless feeling because as a skydiver, when you spin around, you immediately know how to stop by using the air to your own advantage. But here you have no air. It's not a very comfortable situation. Plus, if it gets faster and faster, at a certain RPM, there's a lot of blood going into your head. It's called a readout. If all the blood is getting pushed in your skull, there's only one way for the blood to leave your skull, and that's through the eyeballs. That means they pop out.
Joe spun 112 times on one of his jumps. He experienced minus 12 Gs. So he had ocular hemorrhaging. He was actually bleeding from his eyes on one of his jumps.
And of course, I was aware that if this goes on and on and on and it ramps up like crazy, there's nothing I can do.
I'm worried that the G-Wiz is gonna fire now.
I had a G-Wiz attached to my hand. The G-Wiz is a device that we developed together with Luke.
At about 3.5 Gs for 6 seconds, the G-Wiz would deploy the reserve parachute for you. A drogue chute is a round parachute that's designed to orient your body in a way where your head is a little bit high, and it keeps you from being able to get in this flat spin.
Knowing that I'm already spinning for a while and the G-force was constantly getting higher, I knew that G-whiz could fire my drogue chute anytime. And that's why I put my hands in to trick that G-whiz, because as soon as I put my hands in, it's less G, and now the G-whiz senses, oh, less G, that means he's getting it under control. I would rather solve that problem with my skills versus a safety device.
I was waiting for that moment when he was gonna get enough drag where he could right himself and fix himself.
You could see I was trying to put my right hand out, then I put my left hand out.
Felix stopped the flat spin and flipped back over into a positive free fall position.
That's so cool.
To recompose himself, it's a hell of an achievement. The forces on the body were so huge.
Once he had that, his abilities were just fine. He was gonna be okay.
We knew he's in his comfort zone and everything's gonna be fine.
I was stable as a rock. And now it was actually the first moment where I had time to enjoy the beauty of the nature. You look at the sky, it's blue now. At that moment, I actually start enjoying free fall. Every meter that you're falling towards a better world. More oxygen, more pressure, more temperature. But you're still so high up. I was constantly checking my altimeter.
And then you saw the chute just pop.
There's the chute. There's the chute.
And I mean, at that point, it was, oh my God, game over. We've done it.
He's done it.
I think this is probably a moment where those two guys on the team have been really relaxed, and that's me, because my parachute opened, and Luke Aikens, because he packed that parachute.
I was a little bit worried that all of my skydiving